remember the last time Toyota built a hot hatch? Exactly, neither do I. But here I am, sitting in one, and I have to say that this is one of the most special hot hatches I've ever driven. And that's because when building this car, Toyota ripped out the rule book and started with a blank canvas. And the result is a quite unique proposition in the hot hatch segment. First, there's the name, Yaris GRMN, which means Gazoo Racing, tuned by the Meisters of the Nürburgring. I know, right? And whenever you see a Gazoo Racing badge on a Toyota, it's just like seeing an M badge on a BMW or an AMG one on a Mercedes. It's basically a no-nonsense, driver-focused, high-performance Toyota. And as is the case with the Yaris over here, they're very rare in Europe. This is one of 400 cars made for this continent. But it's not just the name that's a bit special, also the bit up front between the wheels. This small hatchback has a supercharged 1.8-liter petrol engine under the bonnet, producing 212 horsepower and 250 Nm of torque. You won't find this supercharged engine in any other Toyota on the market though. You see, initially Lotus took this engine from Toyota, fiddled with it and then mounted it to their Elise sports car. And then Toyota took back that power unit, made its own modifications to it, and despite the lack of space in the engine bay of the Yaris, managed to fit it under the bonnet. Then you have a Torsen limited slip differential at the front, the lightest in its class, lightweight forged 17-inch alloy wheels made by BBS, which save about 1.5 kilograms per corner. No other car in this segment features forged alloys, and to top it all up, there's 4 piston brakes all around and a bespoke exhaust system, which is pretty loud. When you drive this car like a normal person, you think, hey, it's pretty quiet in here. But start accelerating, get past 3000 RPM, and you get this. No engineered crackles and pops on the overrun. No fake noise being pumped through the speakers. And no turbo on the exhaust to mute the sound. And yeah, this does remind me of how a rally car sounds like. And because this engine is supercharged, throttle response is instant. As soon as you touch the accelerator, the torque is just there. Usually a turbocharged engine needs a second or so for the boost to build up, and then as you go up the rev range, the power starts to fade. Not in this one. Go past 2500 RPM, keep your foot down, and power delivery will be smooth and constant all the way up to 7000 RPM, which is this car's red line. I can't remember the number of times I've hit the rev limiter in this car, just because I'm not used to getting all that power that high in the rev range. I can't praise enough how good it is to have all of this engine's power just waiting for me to touch the accelerator and get it delivered with zero lag. It's so addictive. I've been driving this car for the past week or so, and it's gonna be very difficult for me to go back to turbo engines. And the noise this car makes is awesome. The interior interior is not that special if I'm honest. You do get bucket seats, a quite cool sports steering wheel from the GT86, some Gazoo racing badges everywhere, and that's pretty much it. You can clearly tell that they ran out of budget before starting with the interior. This whole car feels, how should I put it, like a project car. It's like a bunch of engineers met up at a pub late at night and after a few beers decided to build the hot hatches without any modern day compromises. It doesn't feel like a polished product, it feels raw, and it feels like they only paid attention to how this car drives and nothing else. You don't have any creature comforts in here. There's no heated seats, there's no parking sensors, and this whole dash is basically just standard Yaris. And I don't know about you, but I kinda like that. It's refreshing to have such a car in a world where basically all manufacturers follow the same recipe more or less when building a hot hatch. It doesn't even have driving modes. The only button you can have down here is the traction control button. On or off. That's it. And I would advise you to keep the traction control on because this car is a handful to drive. The steering is not that fast and it requires more lock in order to get the job done, and that in turn means that the backhand will soon step into play. And that means the Yaris GRMN is a car you need to wrestle with in order to get on top of. The suspension is beautifully judged, firm but not crashy. It does allow for a bit of body roll, but just enough so you get a sense of when you're about to hit the limits of the car. The manual transmission is nothing special, it's alright, it's not that great in traffic, it's a bit notchy, but once you get it up to speed it gets much better, but definitely hard to live with day to day. And the last thing we need to mention are the brakes. They're absolutely phenomenal. I've never driven a hot hatch before with such amazing stopping power. Wow, just wow. So how to sum up this car then? Well, it's not perfect, I'll tell you that. I don't like the driving position, it's just too high. The exhaust muffler is so low that you scrape it almost every time you go over a speed bump. The clutch is pretty hard. And even though this car is quite expensive, you can't really buy one because they're all sold out. And all these minor flaws and the good things I mentioned before make this car truly special in my eyes because it has something that most new cars nowadays don't have, which is character. And I think the Yaris GRMN is further proof that Toyota didn't really need BMW to build a new Supra. But that's been it for today's video, my friends. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much to Toyota Sweden for lending me this Yaris GRMN. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to hit the like button and make sure to subscribe for plenty more videos to come. And until next time, take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you around!